Hey everyone, this is Nikita from Parcel Tracker, and today I'm going to show you guys how I'd set up my account for freight forwarding operations. Before we begin, it's important to understand what Parcel Tracker is and what it isn't. Parcel Tracker doesn't replace your custom systems or freight forwarding systems. It doesn't handle carrier booking or transport planning. Instead, it focuses on what happens after freight arrives at your facility. Freight forwarders coordinate shipments across countries and carriers. Once freight reaches your warehouse, shipments must be received, stored, consolidated, and routed between facilities, often involving multiple handovers. When freight is dispatched to a third-party carrier, visibility between sites can be lost. This makes delays or missing shipments harder to trace. That's where Parcel Tracker comes in. It speeds up the intake process and helps freight forwarders track movements between their facilities, even if it's across different cities, regions, or countries. Through Parcel Tracker, you can log shipments when they arrive, notify the destination warehouse that freight is on its way, reconcile those parcels when they arrive, and record final delivery or pickup with a clear audit trail all in one platform. By the end of this tutorial, your internal parcel management processes should look something like this. Parcel arrives at the consolidation warehouse. I can scan parcels with my phone camera using the Parcel Tracker mobile app. From the In tab, we'll press Check-in, and then hold the camera over the label and press and hold the button to pick up both the name and the barcode. Upon scanning parcels, I can select tags, get a wider photo of the parcel, and assign it a storage location. I can do this for multiple parcels in a row. Press Save to add the parcel to your cart and continue scanning. This is our second parcel label. Again, we'll press and hold the button to pick up both the name and the barcode. If the app fails to do both, it'll scan the name first and then prompt you to scan the barcode. Then again, you can add tags, get a wider photo of the parcel, and assign it a storage location. Press Save to add the parcel to your cart and continue scanning. This is our final parcel label. You can also add recipient information manually. Start by selecting the recipient. If the parcel has a barcode, then you can scan it, but you can also add the manual identifier instead. Press on the pen icon in the lower left corner, and then feel free to type in your identifier, or select the dice to create a randomly generated one. Mark this number on the parcel. Press the check mark to create the log, and then you can add a photo, assign tags, and assign the parcel storage location. Press Save to add the parcel to your cart and continue scanning. When you're done scanning parcels, open the cart in the lower right corner, and then press Check-in. Those parcels are now checked in. Once the parcels have been checked in, they can be consolidated and prepared for dispatch. When parcels are ready for dispatch, we'll go to the Out tab, select Checkout. You can either scan the parcel labels or select them from the cart. And then press Move, and select the site where they're headed to. Press Confirm. This creates a pending parcel record in the next facility. The destination facility will see a Parcels Expected tab, which means that the parcels are in transit to them and they should prepare to reconcile those deliveries upon arrival. When those deliveries arrive, attending staff can confirm it by scanning normally through the In tab. Alternatively, they can open the cart, swipe to Expected, and then select the parcels and check them in. Once they're scanned in, the parcels will be moved from Expected to Held. If you have an internal courier who can deliver parcels out to the recipient, they'll select the Move tab, select Pickup, select the site where he's picking up the parcels from, and then he can either scan the parcels or he can select them from the cart. When he's selected or scanned the parcels, he'll press Pickup. Those parcels will now be marked as handled and the courier will see where they need to go. When he arrives to the recipient, he'll select Drop Off, and he can either scan the parcels or select them from the cart. He'll select Drop Off and get the recipient's signature to confirm delivery. He can also add notes and a photo of the person collecting the parcel. When he's done, he'll press Complete Checkout. This signs out the parcel. Recipients can also pick up their parcels from the distribution facility. They'll receive a QR code in their email to collect their parcel. When the recipient presents their QR code, staff will go to the Out tab, select Checkout, first scan the QR code, and then scan the parcels that the recipient is going to collect, or select them from the cart. Press Checkout. Optionally, they can add a signature and a photo of the recipient collecting the parcel. When you're done, you'll press Complete Checkout. Those parcels will now be signed out of the facility. The first step would be to create your Parcel Tracker account. After signing up, you'll be able to get a 14-day free trial of the Pro plan, which includes multi-site management for freight forwarding operations. A quick note for freight forwarders who may be watching this, we understand that the Pro pricing model might not always be the best fit, especially if a lot of your customers are one-time customers. That's why we've created a flat rate discount option to make internal tracking more predictable and more cost-effective for your operations. If you'd like to upgrade your plan, contact our team with the code FORWARDYT to get a flat rate or discount on your plan. So to create your Parcel Tracker account, we'll go to parceltracker.com and select Start for Free to create your free account. Here's what your dashboard will look like upon signing in. Before anything else, I want to show you how you can customize your account, and to do that, we'll go to Settings. And you'll be able to edit your company name, add your company logo, and even add your address if needed. To edit your company name, just enter the new one. And to upload your logo, click on Upload Logo. Select the file from your device. And when you're happy with the changes, click Save Changes. Next, there is one feature that I want to enable, so let's go to Features under the Configurator. And I want to enable Additional Parcel Details. Additional Parcel Details will allow me to add things like tags, assign the parcel a storage location, and even get additional photos of the parcels so that I know what it looks like. This can go a long way in preventing parcels from going missing and preventing delays in dispatch. When that's done, the next step would be to set up our sites, so let's go back to our dashboard and click on Sites. I want you to think of sites as major touchpoints where parcels are handled. For freight forwarders, this can look like consolidation facilities or distribution facilities. For this tutorial, I name my default site US Warehouse, but let's say that I have another warehouse in Japan. Later on, when we start scanning, the US warehouse will be able to notify the Japan warehouse that freight is on its way to them. And the warehouse in Japan will be able to reconcile those shipments upon arrival. For now, we'll just add the site, and to do that, we'll click on Add Site, enter the name, and then any of these optional details. The next step would be to upload a recipients. Let's go to Recipients. And you can either bulk upload recipients using a CSV list, or you can add them individually. The reason why we want to upload a recipient list first instead of later on is because Parcel Tracker will use this data to match parcels to the correct recipient and notify them at the same time. Parcel Tracker can now read labels for recipients who don't currently exist and will give you the option to create a new one. However, it's still best to start with a recipient list first so that you can quickly scan in parcels without having to slow down and add a new recipient for each one. For freight forwarders, you'd want to upload a list of all your current recipients. We also understand that adding in recipients individually can be a little tedious, especially if you get a lot of one-time customers, and we do have a solution for that. Parcel Tracker can integrate with your current systems using Zapier or an API integration. That way, when a customer creates an order through one of your systems, they can automatically be added to your recipient directory. You can find a list of all of our integrations on parceltracker.com/integrations, or you can find our API on parceltracker.com/developer. Feel free to reach out to our support team for any questions and integrations. For now, I'll show you how to bulk upload recipients using a CSV list, and to do that, we'll click on Import List. And you can either download a template which you can fill in, or you can select an existing file from your device. Here's what that template looks like. You'll see that there are some optional fields, but the most important ones you'll need would be the recipient's first name, their last name, their email. The reason why we need their email is because Parcel Tracker uses this as the primary notification platform. And finally, their location and drop-off location. A recipient's location in this use case would be their exact address, And for drop-off location, this is primarily needed if you have an internal courier who can deliver parcels directly to the end recipient after it arrives to the distribution warehouse. This can be the exact same as the recipient's location, but you can also leave this empty if it's not needed. Here's my sample recipient CSV list. Again, you'll see I have their location as their exact address. And for the recipients who want their parcels delivered directly to them as opposed to picking them up from the distribution warehouse, we added in their drop-off location. When your recipient list is ready, we'll select Browse File, select the file from your device, tick this box that says you have permission to upload the data, and click Continue. In this tab, you want to make sure that each column is mapped out to the correct property, and here's an example of when I encountered an error. In this example, unit which I used to define room numbers was not recognized as a location, so all I had to do was select the correct property, and in this case it would be the location. When this is done, we'll click on Continue. Review the data. You can make any last minute changes from here. And when you're done, click Continue. If you're prompted to select the default site, you'll want to select the very first touch point, which in this case would be our US warehouse. And then confirm. Finally, upload the information. Parcel Tracker will show you if there are any errors during the process, if there were any duplicate recipients, or if any recipient data was updated from an old CSV list. So now let's view all recipients. You'll see that they've all been added. Since ID and alias are empty, we can hide them. Just hover over the field, click these three dots, and then click Hide. You can also add in recipients individually, and to do that we'll go to Add Recipient and enter the necessary details. But again, for freight forwarding use cases, this can be pretty tedious, and for that we recommend using our Zapier integration or our API. The next step would be to set up your scanning devices. Since Parcel Tracker is a mobile app, you can use a phone or a tablet. Apple or Android will both work, but for best performance we recommend at least an iPhone SE or an Android with 6GB of RAM and a 2.8 GHz processor. You can have designated devices in each site, or you can have staff download the app onto their personal phones, and if so, you want to add them in as Mailroom Users. To do that, we'll go to Settings, click on Mailroom Users, and then click Invite User. Enter the necessary details. From here, you'll also be able to set their user permissions and site access. If you just want this user to be able to scan in and scan out parcels and maybe add and edit recipients, then you can invite them as normal, but if you want them to have more control over the sites and the features, then invite them as admin. Internal couriers and cargo handlers or clerks would be invited as normal, while admins can include operations managers and logistics directors. When you're done, press Send, and this person will receive an invite to become a user on your account. The next step would be to configure our tags. Let's go to Tags under the configurator. You'll see that Parcel Tracker already has some default tags, but you can add more as needed. In freight forwarding, tags can tell teams how a parcel should be handled, where it's headed next, or what actions are required at that stage. You can use more general tags like fragile or priority shipment, or which facility it should be headed to if you have multiple distribution facilities. To add a tag, we'll click on Add Tag, enter the name, and then you can even select a custom color so that it's easier to see. The next step would be to set up our storage locations. Let's go to Storage Locations. Storage locations can be especially useful in large facilities like warehouses and freight forwarding. One common issue that we see in large facilities is that parcels can get misplaced, which can cause delays, and this is something that we want to avoid in high volume environments. With Parcel Tracker, you can map out the entire physical space and narrow it down to each shelf, each aisle, each row, each pallet, and each staging area. You can also add specialized storage areas like temperature-controlled zones or hazardous material zones. To add a location, we'll click on Add Location, enter the name, and then click Save and add another to add a new one, or Save to close the window. You can also customize storage locations for each site, and to do that, we'll click on this top bar, and then select the site that you want to configure. And again, you'll be able to add your locations. Next, I want to set up my recipient notifications. Let's go to Inbound Notifications at the bottom. On the left bar, you'll see a list of all of your sites, and in the center, you'll see a list of all of your active templates from its name, the type of notification, which channels it's active in, and which sites it's used in. First, let's see how to add your branding to a notification, and to do that, we'll click on Global Style. You can upload your logo. You can set the logo size. And you can even select custom background and accent colors to match your branding. When you're happy with the changes, click Update. All notifications will now inherit this style. Parcel Tracker has a few types of notifications. Check-in and check-out notifications are on by default. A check-in or delivery notification is what the recipient would receive when the parcel is first scanned in, telling them to collect their parcel. Checkout notifications are basically confirmation emails telling the recipient that they have successfully collected their parcel. Reminders can be set so that recipients pick up their parcels in a more timely manner. You can also enable welcome notifications for recipients who have recently been added to your directory, and move in and move out notifications trigger whenever a parcel is moved in or out of a specific site. Now let's try customizing one of our templates. Hover over the template you want to edit and then click Open. On the right, you'll see a preview of what the notification would look like, and on the left, you'll be able to edit the template's name, enter a completely new message, and you can add or delete any of these variables. You can also choose to display advanced parcel details, which will show the recipient things like notes and courier information. Again, when the recipient receives a delivery notification, it will contain a QR code, which they can use to collect their parcel. However, since this is a consolidation warehouse and not a distribution warehouse, we won't need this QR code, so we can disable it. But I still want the recipient to be informed about the status of their parcel, so I can edit the messaging to say, hey, your parcel has arrived to this warehouse and will be in transit soon. When you're happy with the changes, click Submit, and this will update your template. Next, I'll show you how to create a new template. For this step, we'll go to the Japan warehouse, so let's select it from the left bar. We'll click on Create Template. If your distribution facility has a customer pickup model, then you want to create a delivery notification or a check-in notification with the QR code enabled. So we'll do that now. We'll press Check-in. Again, on the right, you'll see a preview. We'll see that the QR code is enabled. And then again, we can change the template's name and add or delete any of these variables. Again, we can display advanced parcel details, and when you're happy with the changes, click Submit. You'll have successfully created the template, but it's actually not yet active in your site, and to do that, we'll click on Assign Template, and then click on the template you want to add. And now it's now active on your site. If you have multiple sites and you want to add the same template to all of them, don't worry, you won't have to manually do it for each one. All you have to do is hover over the desired template, click on the three dots, and then click Assign to Sites. You'll be able to assign it to all sites or just a specific site. I want to show you some additional actions that you can do from the menu. From here, you'll be able to schedule, duplicate, and remove templates from a specific site. You can also delete the notification completely if needed. Scheduling can be done if you need a buffer between scanning in parcels and then notifying the recipients. This is useful if, for example, you get a high volume of shipments every day and need all parcels to be scanned in before informing the recipient that you're delivering them out or that they can come to collect their parcel. To set a schedule, we'll click Schedule and then click Enable, and then you can set your delay and then click Update to save the changes. Now that all of this is done, we're finally ready to start scanning in some parcels. You're now looking at my phone screen, and I first want to show you where you can find Parcel Tracker on the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. So whichever one you're on, go to Search, look for Parcel Tracker, and select Parcel Tracker Mailroom. This is the app that you want to download, and once it's installed, you can just sign in with your account details. Here's what the app looks like, and before we start scanning anything in, I want to show you these 5 tabs. The first one is In, which is what you use to scan in parcels. Out to check out parcels. You'll also be using this to route parcels to the next site. Move, your internal courier will be using this to deliver parcels directly to the end recipients. Manage to manage parcels, recipients, and users. And settings to access our live chat support, our online knowledge base, and configure the features and scanning mode. I've moved my phone screen a bit to the right so I can show you a flowchart of where parcels are currently at in your workflow. Now let's say that parcels have arrived to my receiving bay at the US warehouse, and when I'm ready to scan them in, we'll press Check-in. Hold the camera over the label, and then press and hold the button to pick up the name and the barcode. Since we enabled additional parcel details earlier, we'll be able to assign this parcel some tags. Storage location, and Parcel Tracker auto extracts images upon the scan-in, but you can add additional photos if needed. For example, if you have a slightly larger shipment and you want to take a wider photo so that you know what it looks like, you can totally do that. Just click on the image, then you can take a photo or you select one from your gallery. We'll just take a photo and then press save. This adds the parcel to your cart, and you can continue scanning multiple parcels in a row. Here's my second parcel label. Again, we'll press and hold the button to pick up the name and the barcode. If for any reason the app fails to do both, it'll pick up the name first and then prompt you to scan the barcode, or you can also add in a manual one, but I'll show you guys how to do that later. For now, let's try rescanning the barcode. And again, we'll be able to assign the parcel some tags, storage location, and get an additional photo. And then press save. This adds the parcel to your cart. Next, I'll show you how to add parcels in manually. This is useful if for any reason the label is unreadable so you can't scan it, like maybe it's covered in stickers. We'll press select recipient, search for your recipient or select them from the list. And then if the parcel has a barcode, then you can scan in the barcode. But if it doesn't, you can add in a manual one. To do that, click on this pen icon in the lower left corner. You can add your own identifier, or you can press this dice to create a randomly generated one. We recommend marking this on the parcel. And then press the check mark. This creates a new log, and you can assign tags, storage location, and get a photo. When you're done, press save. And let's say that all parcels have been scanned in. We'll open the cart. You'll see a preview of all the parcels you've scanned in. If you want to make any changes or if you want to delete a parcel, swipe left. And when you're done, press check in. Those parcels will now be checked in. Now let's say that some time has passed and those parcels have now been consolidated and prepared for dispatch. When they're ready to head to the next facility, we'll go to the Out tab, select Checkout, and we can either scan the parcel labels or we can select them from the cart. Once the parcels have been scanned or selected, we'll press Move and then select the site where they're headed to and press Confirm. The parcels will now be signed out of this site, but we have a pending record in the destination site. So let's go to the Japan warehouse to check. To do that, we'll go to Settings, switch site, and then select Japan warehouse and confirm. We'll now see those parcels in our Expected tab. My team in this facility will now know that parcels are in transit to them and that they should prepare to reconcile those deliveries upon arrival. If we select Expected, we'll be able to see the details of those parcels. And now let's say they've arrived to the facility. Attending staff can confirm it by scanning them normally through the In tab. So we'll press check in and then scan the parcel. Or we can also select them from the cart. So let's open the cart. And then make sure that you're on the Expected tab. You'll see that the parcel we just scanned in has been highlighted, and all those other expected parcels are with it, so we can just select those, and then press check in. Once they're scanned in, parcels will move from expected to held. When parcels are at the distribution facility, they can either be picked up by the end recipient or delivered by an internal courier. We'll do courier delivery first. Your internal courier will go to the Move tab, select Pickup, select the site where he's picking up the parcels from, and then he can either scan those parcel labels, or he can select them from the cart, and then press Pickup. Those parcels will now be marked as handled, and since we enable drop-off locations, we should be able to see where those parcels need to go. When he arrives to the end recipient, he'll select Drop-off, and again he can either scan the parcel label, or he can select them from the cart, and then he'll press Drop-off. He can get a signature to confirm delivery. He can also add notes and then a photo of the person collecting the parcel. And when he's done, he'll press Complete Checkout. Those parcels will now be signed out. Next, we'll do a QR checkout. This is for when a recipient will be collecting a parcel from the facility. Again, your recipient will receive a QR code which they can use to collect their parcel. All they have to do is present this to the staff, and when they do, we'll go to the Out tab. Then we'll press Checkout. First, scan the QR code, and then scan the parcel that they're going to collect, or we can select them from the cart. And then press Checkout. Since a QR code was used, we don't need to add a signature, but you can still add one if needed. You can add notes and a photo of the person collecting the parcel, and then press Complete Checkout. Those parcels will now be checked out. You can still scan out parcels if the recipient doesn't have a QR code. For example, maybe they've forgotten it or they don't have their phone on them, but they've been able to verify their identity in a different way. We'll go to the Out tab, we'll press Checkout. We can either scan the barcode directly, or we can select a recipient from our list, and then select the parcel from the cart, and then press Checkout. Since we didn't use a QR code, we'll need to add a signature to confirm delivery. And again, we can add notes and a photo of the person collecting the parcel. Then press Complete Checkout to sign out the parcel. We're now back at our web dashboard, and I first want to show you guys the Parcels tab. So let's open Parcels, and let's open one of Isaac's parcels. On the right, you'll see a full timeline from when the parcel was first checked in, when it was moved to the next warehouse, and when it was signed out of that warehouse. You'll also be able to see which user who was handling that parcel at the time. One more tab that I think you'll find really helpful is our statistics. So let's go to that tab, and you'll be able to see information like your peak check-in and checkout times, your top couriers, and your average parcel turnaround time. Since it's a new account, we don't have a lot of data here yet, but I'll show you guys what it looks like once you've spent enough time with the software. Now I'll give you guys an example of how I would use this data to improve my freight forwarding operations. If I notice that my peak check-in and checkout times happen during a certain day or hour, I can use this information to prepare for those peak times by allocating more resources like extra helping hands, parcel trolleys, or even performing parcel audits to make sure that there's enough space for incoming parcels. Parcel turnaround time refers to the amount of time it takes for a parcel to be collected after it's been checked in from the first facility. If I notice that I have a high average turnaround time, it might mean that I need to hire more couriers, identify where bottlenecks are occurring in my warehouses, and see if there's anything causing delays, or it might mean I need to change carriers for faster service. That's it for our freight forwarding tutorial. Please let us know if you found this video helpful, which features you like best, or which features you want to see us add in the future. You can find our sign up link in the description below, and again, if you want to upgrade your plan, please use the code FORWARDYT. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with our latest features. Thank you again, and see you next time.